So we're going to be doing the patch pocket with the pocket flap, and the piece that you sewed the facing on, this is the one we're going to use. So we're going to flip it over to right side, and you're going to see these two drill holes. So we're going to be setting the pocket to that drill hole. All right, so right now I have a pocket. As you can see, there's notches at the top here. You can see the notches. That tells the sewer how wide the pocket hem is going to be. So that's the hem. So what we're going to do is this is right side and this is wrong side. So we're going to fold on the notches so that it is on the face to face, okay? And the notches are going to be at the top. Then we're going to fold the raw edge up 1/4, and so it's going to be like an accordion, okay? Down and up. All right. We're going to do a 1 inch, we're going to do a 1/2 inch seam. So we're going to sew down just to where the fold is, and then we're going to back tack and just back tack all the way. All right. Then we're going to do the other side, same thing, 1/2 inch. And then back tack. All right, the next thing we're going to do is go to the iron, and we're going to press this. All right, so before we start ironing, we're going to trim this seam down. So we're just going to cut it at an angle like this, and on this side as well. Okay, that's going to get rid of all of that fabric that's going to cause this to not be nice sharp corners. Then we're going to turn this right side up. We're going to pop those corners through so we have nice square corners. Okay, so now we're going to press it. So we're pressing the hem down, nice and flat. And the sides here are turning under. They're actually turning up 1/2 inch. So we're going to press that 1/2 inch. Press the other side, same thing, 1/2 inch. Then the bottom, we're going to fold that up 1/2 inch as well. All right, now when we turn this right side up, you're going to see that the edges of this fold that we folded under is going to be hanging out, and that just looks ugly. So we're going to fix that by unfolding and then folding the corner up so it's like a triangle, as you can see. And then we're going to fold back up again, that 1/2 inch we made, and press. So that corner looks like kind of like a picture frame. We're going to do the same thing on the other side. We're going to open, we're going to fold it at an angle, like a little triangle, like this, and then fold it back up, and then press. All right, so we're done, and now we're going to go back to the sewing machine and sew the pocket. The first thing that we need to do is we need to hem the pocket. So we're going to edge stitch right here on the fold. And then we're just going to run off a little bit. Okay, we're going to clip the threads, but we're going to leave some thread hanging. On this side, we're going to leave some thread hanging. So when we go to set the pocket to the body, we're going to fold this thread under and it's going to stop it from causing it to be the extra threads just hanging out. All right, so now we're going to set the pocket to the bodice. These drill holes tell the sewer that the pocket is going to be 1/4 inch above and 1/4 inch over from each drill hole. So we're going to line this up and then lay that right on top. So what we're doing is we're covering that drill hole completely. All right, so we're going to start here at the very top. So when your needle comes down, we're going to do an edge stitch. Now the edge stitch is, again, we're going to line the fold of this pocket just underneath this presser foot right here, okay? And then this extra thread that's hanging, just fold that under with your fingers to get that inside. Okay, we're going to back tack. So we're going to back tack and then come back again. Now we're going to sew our edge stitch. When we start getting close to the corner here, we're going to do some stitches by hand. Again, stitches by hand is taking your hand to the flywheel and just turning the wheel, and you'll see that it's doing these without the machine. So I'm going to get close to the corner, and once I get close to the corner, as you can see, now I can turn and put the presser foot back down and continue sewing again. So I have a nice even edge stitch. When I get back up to the top, I'm going to drop off. Now drop off is where the needle is coming right off of the pocket just at the body. Okay, and then I'm going to back up again, do my back tacking, and then go forward. Okay, so that's setting the pocket. Now, the next thing we're going to do is set the pocket flap. So we have our pocket set. So we're going to set this aside, and we're going to work on the pocket flap. So with the pocket flap, you have to have 2 pocket flaps. As you can see, I did a print. You have a wrong side and you have a right side. So we're going to take the pocket flap and we're going to face it so that right sides are together. We're going to start at the top here. As you can see, there's a notch telling me that this is a 1/4 seam. So I'm going to start at the top here and I'm going to sew a 1/4 seam. I'm going to back tack. And then I'm going to come close to that 1/4 and then I'm going to turn. Okay, I'm going to keep on going. And when I get close to that point, I'm going to turn. Okay, so how do I get close? Okay, if I'm not close enough, when I turn, you'll see that the raw edge is beyond the 1/4 line. So that means I need to do another stitch. So I'm going to do one more stitch by hand, and then I'm going to turn, and you'll see that now the raw edge is right on the 1/4 line. So that means I'm going to sew a perfect 1/4 seam all the way around. Then I'm going to back tack. Okay, so when I'm finished, I'm going to go to the iron and we're going to press this. Okay, the first thing we need to do again is we're going to clip those corners so that when we turn we don't have that excess fabric. And then right in this point here we're going to clip a little V notch. Clip into that, and that's going to help as well. All right, so now we're going to turn this right side up. When we turn it right side up, we want to make sure, again, those corners are popped through and that the center is also popped through. So you have that little Western shape pocket. Okay, we're going to press it. And then we're going to go back to the sewing machine and we're going to do our top stitching and then set it to the bodice. So now we're going to be doing the top stitch, and we're going to do a quarter top stitch. So you're going to put the pocket flap right underneath the machine, and this fold or this edge of the seam here is going to line up with that quarter mark. So we're going to start sewing. You don't have to back tack on this. And again, when we get close, we want to do one stitch, turn, and you'll notice that it's beyond the quarter stitch. So I'm going to come back and do one more stitch. Now when I turn, it's right on the quarter. So that's going to give you that beautiful, perfect quarter top stitch all the way around. So we're going to do that again here, and we're going to turn, and it happens to be correct. And again, turn, and then come back up. All right, so when we're finished, we're going to set this pocket flap to the body. So you want to make sure that's nice and flat. As you can see, you've got that nice top stitching. We're going to trim the threads. Okay, so now when we set the flap, we're going to set the flap so that this raw edge, the opening here, is going to be facing the pocket opening. And the distance between the two is a 1/2 inch. So you'll see with my ruler, that is a 1/2 inch. Now I'm going to do a quarter top stitch straight across. So what I'm doing is I'm lining up this raw edge onto the raw or the side of the presser foot on this side, and that's going to be my guide. Okay, I'm going to back tack, and then I'm going to go forward, back tack. Okay, next step is we're going to trim this down. So this raw edge we need to trim down. So we're going to fold that in half, and we're going to cut this about 1/8 off. Okay, you want to cut about 1/8 off. As you can see. Now we're going to fold it back. So we're going to now fold it over so it's on top of the pocket. You want to make sure that that's flat right here. Now, if you fold it over too much, you're going to end up with these tucks here. That's not the way we want to do it. We want to just fold it over so it's nice and flat. Now we're going to do another quarter top stitch. So this time, this fold is going to line up on this side of the presser foot, and that's going to be our guide. So I'm going to back tack, and then I'm going to sew forward and let it drop off, as you can see, and then back tack and trim the threads. Always trim your threads after your sewing project is done because it makes it much prettier. Okay, so this is it. This is your pocket and your pocket flap. And as you can see, when I open this up, I don't see all those raw edges because I trimmed it down. So that's your pocket, patch pocket with pocket flap.